In the prestigious halls of the Galactic Academy, students from across the universe gathered to learn, share, and prepare for interstellar diplomacy. Aliens of every species could be found in the grand lecture rooms, but this year, a new species made its mark: humans. Among them was Jason Carter, a student from Earth, considered by many in the galaxy to be a death world due to its harsh environment. To the rest of the galaxy, humans were primitive beings barely scraping by in a chaotic and violent world. Jason, though, was far from the image they had in mind. It wasn't long before Jason's peers from advanced, peaceful worlds began asking him questions, half out of curiosity, half in mockery. "What's the craziest thing you've seen on Earth?" a Zenthri student asked, his scales shimmering under the classroom's bright lights. Jason's response caught them off guard. "Well," he said with a smirk, "there was that time I almost got killed by a bear in the middle of a blizzard." The room went quiet. Most of these students came from planets where their greatest challenges involved bureaucratic disputes or the occasional malfunctioning bot, not apex predators. The stories started flowing from Jason like a torrent, from wrestling wild animals to surviving natural disasters, to navigating the intense political climates of Earth's nations. Jason's tales painted Earth as a battlefield where survival was a daily challenge. His classmates' jaws dropped when he casually mentioned, "Oh, and did I tell you about the time my city was almost wiped out by a rogue meteorite? We had about 2 hours of warning." Suddenly, the image of Earth as a backwater world of primitive shifted. The classroom buzzed with disbelief. A Grylaxian student, known for his planet's perfect weather and controlled ecosystem, raised his hand. "You're saying your people live with the constant threat of extinction? How do you even manage to evolve with such chaos?" Jason chuckled, leaning back in his chair. "We didn't just survive it, we thrived because of it. You see, on Earth, we don't wait for problems to solve themselves. We face them head-on." His confidence unnerved them, but his stories were too fascinating to ignore. One of the most skeptical students, a tall, silver-skinned Trevani with a high intellect and zero survival experience, challenged him. "Surely, your species can't match up to ours in combat or technology. You may be able to wrestle bears, but we've mastered every element of physics." Jason leaned in, his eyes gleaming. "Combat, huh? Let me tell you about Earth's wars. We've fought battles so devastating that entire regions were reshaped by the aftermath. We didn't just fight with swords and shields. We've developed weapons that could wipe out entire civilizations in minutes. But that's not our pride. Our real strength lies in how we adapt and outsmart our enemies. You don't have to be the biggest or the most advanced to win." The class was silent. Every student knew war, but the level of destruction Jason spoke of was unimaginable to them. One student, a feline-like being from a peaceful agrarian planet, looked horrified. Why would you do that to each other?" Jason's smile faded, replaced with a more serious tone. "Because when you grow up in a world where nature itself can turn on you at any moment, you learn fast that survival doesn't come without struggle. It's in our blood to fight for what we believe in, no matter the cost." The professor, who had been observing in quiet awe, finally spoke up. "It's no wonder Earth has become known as a death world. But tell me, Jason, how has humanity managed to keep evolving through such relentless adversity?" Jason leaned forward, locking eyes with the professor. "Because adversity is our teacher. Every disaster, every conflict, it pushes us to be better, smarter, and stronger. We don't just react. We learn and we grow. We became a death world's toughest species because we had no other choice." The room was spellbound. A murmur of disbelief rippled through the classroom. The Trevani student, still struggling to process Jason's revelations, finally spoke. "But if your world is so dangerous, why do you stay? Why not leave for a more peaceful place?" Jason took a deep breath, knowing this question would come up. "That's the thing about Earth. It's our home. Despite all the chaos, we have something that binds us, our spirit. We've learned to find beauty in the struggle, to cherish every moment, and to protect what's ours." Every disaster has forged a community, and every war has united us against a common enemy. He could see the gears turning in his classmates' heads. The idea of loyalty and love for a chaotic home was foreign to many of them. And that's why I'm here, he continued, his voice firm, to show you that there's more to humanity than just our wars or our struggles. We're resilient, adaptable, and when it counts, we unite for a cause. Suddenly, a holographic projector flickered to life, initiated by the professor. A series of images displayed on the screen. Human achievements in science, art, and community service, each accompanied by brief descriptions. Jason watched as faces filled with wonder. "Look," he said, gesturing towards the images. "This is us working together to build a better future. We've sent people to the moon, explored the depths of our oceans, and created technologies that connect us across vast distances. Yes, we have our problems, but we strive for greatness. That's the paradox of humanity. We're often at our best when things are at their worst." The Grylaxian, still skeptical but intrigued, asked, "How do you manage such contradictions within your society?" "Through stories," Jason replied. "Every generation tells tales of our struggles and victories, of heroes and ordinary people overcoming incredible odds. These stories inspire us, make us laugh, cry, and remind us of who we are. They're our way of passing down knowledge and wisdom." With that, Jason launched into another story, this one about an older tradition of gathering around campfires to share tales of survival and adventure. These stories shaped our cultures and defined our identities. They're how we understand the world and each other. Even though we're from a dangerous place, our shared experiences and stories connect us all. By now, the students were leaning forward, their previous disbelief replaced with genuine interest. The professor smiled, clearly pleased with Jason's impact. "It seems, Jason, that you're not just here to share stories of survival, but to show us the strength of humanity's spirit." Jason nodded, feeling the weight of his classmates' gazes. "Exactly. And if you're willing to learn, I can share more about what it truly means to be human. The good, the bad, and everything in between." He paused, allowing the anticipation to build. "But I'd also love to hear your stories. You all come from amazing worlds with experiences I can't even begin to imagine. Let's trade tales of survival and resilience. I promise it'll be worth it." A hand shot up. This time it was the feline student. "I'd like to go next," she said, her voice trembling slightly with excitement. "Our planet has faced droughts and famine, and I can share how my people learned to adapt to those challenges." And so, in that classroom filled with the galaxy's finest students, an unexpected exchange began. Each story shared brought them closer together, weaving a tapestry of experiences that transcended their differences. As Jason listened to tales of triumph, loss, and resilience from the far corners of the universe, he couldn't help but think how the real lesson was unfolding before them. That despite their vastly different backgrounds, they all shared the same core struggles that define their existence in the cosmos. As the stories continued to flow, laughter erupted, and eyes sparkled with a newfound camaraderie. Jason felt a sense of pride swell within him, knowing that the lessons of Earth were resonating beyond its chaotic borders. The atmosphere in the room transformed from skepticism to warmth as stories flowed like the currents of a cosmic river. The feline student recounted how her people, the Lyrans, had faced a devastating drought that lasted for years. "We learned to cultivate plants that thrived in arid conditions, using water conservation techniques passed down through generations. We even created festivals to celebrate the resilience of our crops, uniting the community in hope and determination." The Grylaxian followed suit, sharing tales of their planet's harmony with nature, but also the struggles of maintaining balance against external threats. "We faced a conflict with a neighboring world that sought to exploit our resources. It forced us to unite as a species and adapt our technology, blending our natural abilities with innovative solutions to defend our home." As each student spoke, Jason began to see the threads of commonality woven through their experiences. The struggles, whether against nature, war, or their own societal challenges, resonated deeply. It was clear that every species had faced their own versions of adversity, leading to growth, innovation, and unity. Finally, it was Jason's turn again. I've shared tales of survival, but let me tell you about the time humanity came together in an extraordinary way. He described the global response to a recent catastrophic event on Earth, where nations had united to provide aid, regardless of previous conflicts or political disagreements. When the worst happens, we often see the best of humanity. People from all walks of life stepped up to help. Volunteers flew to disaster zones, providing food, medical aid, and shelter to those affected. In those moments, borders became irrelevant and our shared humanity shone through. His classmates listened intently, captivated by the vivid imagery of humanity coming together. They began to grasp the concept of unity through struggle, an idea they had not fully understood until now. Every story we share is a reflection of our values, Jason concluded. They teach us compassion, resilience, and the importance of standing together even when it feels impossible. That's how we grow stronger, not just as individuals but as a species. As the class drew to a close, the professor announced, "I propose we hold a storytelling festival. Let's dedicate time to share our worlds, our trials and triumphs, and learn from one another. This will not only enhance our understanding, but strengthen our bonds as galactic citizens." Cheers erupted in the classroom. Jason felt a sense of accomplishment wash over him. He had not only opened a door to understanding, but had ignited a passion for connection that transcended their differences. The weeks that followed were filled with excitement and preparation. Students collaborated on organizing the festival, inviting representatives from various planets, and curating tales that highlighted their unique cultures. They exchanged ideas about themes, decorations, and even the food that would showcase their culinary traditions. As the day of the festival approached, the classroom buzzed with creativity. Posters adorned the walls, each decorated with vibrant depictions of the different planets and their stories. Jason felt a camaraderie forming among his classmates, the barriers of species and cultures dissolving into something more profound, a shared journey of discovery. On the day of the festival, the Academy's Grand Hall transformed into a celestial amphitheater. Students decorated the space with holographic displays of their home worlds, creating an atmosphere rich in diversity and imagination. As the first stories were shared, laughter and applause echoed through the hall. Jason watched with pride as each student stood before their peers, recounting their tales. They brought laughter, tears, and the collective realization that no matter how different their worlds were, they were all part of a greater narrative. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the gathering, Jason felt a sense of belonging he had never expected. Here, amidst aliens from worlds he had only dreamed of, he realized that humanity's spirit was not just about survival. It was about connection, empathy, and the shared human experience that transcended the stars. The festival culminated with a storytelling circle, where everyone was invited to join in. Students shared their experiences and extended their hands in friendship, each tale a bridge connecting their diverse cultures. Just as Jason was about to share another story, a voice rang out from the back. "Can I tell a story too?" It was the Trevani student, a newfound confidence radiating from him. "I think it's time to share our own tales of survival, the ones we don't often speak of." Everyone turned to face him, eager to listen as he stepped forward, ready to unveil the hidden stories of his people. The room fell silent, the anticipation palpable. "Growing up on my planet, we faced challenges you might find shocking." And with that, the stories continued to flow, weaving an intricate tapestry of survival, strength, and the enduring power of unity in a vast and diverse galaxy. Jason couldn't help but smile, realizing that this festival was just the beginning of a new chapter, not only for him, but for all the beings gathered under one roof, united in their shared tales. The stars seemed to shine brighter that evening, echoing the promise of newfound connections and friendships that would last long beyond the academy walls. As the Trevani student shared his story, the room hung on every word. He spoke of a time when his planet faced a catastrophic energy crisis due to the overuse of their advanced technology. We were so reliant on our machines that we ignored the signs of depletion. When the power grid failed, it felt like the world was ending, he recounted, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. But it was during that crisis that we discovered the true strength of our community. We came together to rebuild, relying on our old ways of living alongside the technology we had nearly forgotten. His tale resonated with everyone present, and it became clear that the Trevani had learned valuable lessons about sustainability and balance, principles that echoed Jason's stories of Earth. As each student took their turn, they began to weave threads of connection between their worlds. The Zenthri spoke of their struggle against an invasive species threatening their ecosystem, and how their unity allowed them to restore balance. The Grylaxians shared stories of overcoming the fear of the unknown when their planet was threatened by a rogue asteroid. Each story carried a message of resilience, and with every tale, the audience's understanding deepened. Finally, as the festival drew to a close, Jason stood before his classmates once more. I've learned something incredible from all of you. It's not just about surviving. It's about thriving together. Each of our planets has its own challenges, but we've all discovered solutions through community, perseverance, and storytelling. This festival has shown me that we're not just representatives of our worlds. We're part of a larger family, bound by our shared experiences. The crowd erupted into applause, cheers echoing off the walls of the grand hall. The professor, visibly moved, stood up to address the gathering. Tonight, we have witnessed the power of connection through storytelling. This festival has not only enriched our understanding of one another, but has also laid the groundwork for future collaborations. Let us carry this spirit forward, not just within these walls, but throughout the galaxy. As the final moments of the festival approached, Jason looked around at the faces filled with joy and pride. He felt a warmth in his chest, an overwhelming sense of belonging. The laughter and camaraderie created an atmosphere he never wanted to leave. Before parting ways, the students agreed to establish a galactic story exchange program where they would continue to share their tales and insights with one another. It was a promise to keep the lines of communication open, fostering understanding and collaboration between their diverse cultures. As they began to disperse, Jason felt a tap on his shoulder. It was the feline student, her eyes sparkling. Thank you for bringing us all together, Jason. Your stories made us see our own in a new light. Let's keep this going, sharing our tales and learning from one another. He smiled back, filled with hope for the future. Absolutely. I can't wait to see where our stories take us next. As he stepped outside into the cool night air, the stars twinkled above, each one a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Jason Carter, Earth's toughest student, had not only amazed his classmates with tales of survival, but had forged bonds that would span galaxies. He realized that in a universe filled with diverse worlds and cultures, it was the stories they shared that truly united them. With a heart full of gratitude and excitement, Jason looked up at the stars, knowing that this was just the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Not just for him, but for all of them. Together, they would continue to write their stories, weaving a narrative of hope, resilience, and the undeniable strength of community. And with that thought, he felt ready for whatever challenges awaited, not just as a human, but as a member of a galactic family united in their shared experiences.